Hi guys, welcome back to Garden Obsessed. Lola's trying to play with me, so I don't know how well this is gonna go, but we're gonna give it a shot anyway. So it's almost time to plant my sweet peas, and something that I thought I would try this year is root trainers. So I ordered a set of root trainers, and I'm also going to do a little experiment. Last year I just planted them in regular cell trays, which totally works fine. You can totally do it that way. You'll have wonderful, glorious sweet peas. But another thing that people use is toilet paper rolls. So I'm going to try planting some in those as well. And the benefit to something like the toilet paper rolls is, so I don't know if you can see that or not, but the depth on the toilet paper roll is almost twice as deep as it is on the cell pack. So sweet peas don't always transplant the best. I had no problem with mine last year. I think as long as you're careful and they're not root bound and overgrown, and you're really careful when you transplant them, it's totally doable. But something like the root trainer, there's a photo on the side of the box here. There's actually ridges in the root trainer, and I'll get them out here in a second and show you. But it will train the roots down and makes it a little easier for transplanting. I have used root trainers in the past at my work, not for sweet peas. One thing that I do know about them is they are expensive and they seem a little flimsy, and inevitably the hinge will break, but don't throw them out. You can still use them, especially like when you pay, I think it was like $35 or $36 for like one set, like one tray. This is a mini tray. But it's something that I'm going to use every year for my sweet peas, hopefully, and I'm hoping to find success using this system this year. So let's open it up and see what it looks like. Okay, so the first thing that you will see in your kit here is this part, and this is just like the rack that your root trainers are going to sit in. The other thing that comes with it is a dome, and you can use this as a dome, or once everything germinates, you can put this underneath the rack and actually use this as like a tray. The root trainers themselves look like this before they're folded, and I'll go ahead and show you that they are even a little deeper still than the toilet paper roll. So these are probably a good 4 or 5 inches deep. So let's fold one and put it together. Okay, so I've got one of my root trainers here, and this is the scary part. When you fold it in half, and you can see there's quite a gap at the bottom, and that will allow some of the roots at the bottom to air prune and will hopefully benefit the peas when you go to transplant them. So now up here, I don't know if you can see that great, but essentially you're going to, there's, these are kind of molded. So you want this to come over to this side and push together, and it will hold in place because of the way that it's molded. So you're gonna do that with every division here all the way across. And that is your little book or clamshell root trainer. Now, that's just going to, I've got one already in here. This is just going to fit right in next to it. And I will get these all put together and we'll come back. Actually, before I get them put together, I just want to make sure you can see the grooves in the side of these root trainers. And this is these are deep enough that when the roots grow out to the side and hit these channels, they're gonna follow them down along the bottom. And that prevents like the wrapping of the roots and becoming root bound. So I'll get these put together. Okay, the last one's always a bit of a tight squeeze. Those are in there really firmly. But you can see now we're essentially left with something that looks like just a very deep cell tray. So there are 36 slots here, and we are going to fill them all with sweet peas. And like I said, I'm going to also do a little experiment. So we're going to do some in the toilet paper rolls as well. And I'm not going to bother doing any in these cell trays, but I am going to plant up some in individual pots and try winter sowing those just to see if the method that I'm trying this year works on sweet peas and if it's something that might be worth doing every year. Even if it's still planting them in these and setting this whole thing outside in like a cold frame or something. But anyway, we're gonna have some fun this year and play around with what might be the best way to start sweet peas. Okay, we're at the messy winter sow station here. And I've got some sweet pea seeds. I just picked these ones up today. And I think for our experimentation purposes, I'm going to plant some of these in both a pot that is going to be part of my winter sowing efforts, as well as some of these in toilet paper tubes and in the root trainers. And we will just see what some of the different kind of growth is that we get from all three. Okay, so I've got my sweet pea seeds here, and I'm going to put 4 in this pot. And I think when I do the toilet paper rolls, I'm going to put 2 seeds. Oops, I just dropped one. Okay, I found it. I didn't want Lola to find that. So I think I'll put 2 seeds in the toilet paper rolls and 2 in each of the root trainer cells, and that way if one doesn't germinate, we don't have an empty cell. And also I don't think it hurts to have a couple of sweet peas that close together. So I've covered up my seeds and I'm just watering them in now. And you'll notice I didn't soak the seeds first. I don't think that's actually necessary. I have soaked in the past, but it's like one extra step and I didn't find it had any extra benefit, so it's just not something that I do anymore. Now this is going to get a tag and we'll take it outside and put it in with our winter sown stuff. We'll just add him to the collection here. As you can see, we're getting quite a few things. And there we go. Okay, I've got my toilet paper rolls ready to plant, and how I filled them, I just set the toilet paper roll in my hand and put a couple inches of soil in and packed it down really well so I'd be able to transfer it easily from my hand into the container. You could also fill them in the container, but I thought this way might be a little less messy. And then you just continue to fill up with soil. And they were a little tippy in here, so I just tied a string around. If you have a higher wall container that you're using, you might be able to get away with not needing anything to tie it. If I had a rubber band, I would have used that. And I'm just using like a takeout container to put them in. So I've got 4 sweet peas picked out. I'm going to plant 2 tubes of each. So we've got Streamer's Mix, which is the one that we're trying to winter sow as well. This is Prince of Orange. It's actually a Spencer variety of sweet peas, and it may be in this mix, which is Spencer Giant Mix. And then the last one is High Scent. So I'm just gonna, I think I'm gonna put 2 seeds per tube here. I'm gonna get one of my little sticks to help me push them down. So I'm just putting them down like about a centimeter or 1/2 inch. And I'm just gonna cover them up. And make sure I get my labels in there. Now on to Prince of Orange. And put my labels in. I'm just gonna kind of tamp those down too. All right, next up, Spencer Giant. Sorry if you can hear Lola whining in the background. We had a snowstorm yesterday and Jarrett's out with the snowblower and she thinks she should be out there too. She's definitely a snow dog. And then last we have High Scent. This is another thing I always do. I always put my seeds in a bag to put them back in the seed container. I like to have the original instructions, and I've had way too many times where I found seeds in the bottom of containers and I had no idea what they belonged to. So I started doing this, and that's how I roll with the seeds now. And when I use a pack it up, like I reuse those baggies, so when it's time to throw this package out, I'll save the baggie inside and put different seeds in it in a different packet. So that's all I'm gonna do for these guys. I am going to give them a quick water. The potting soil is fairly dry. It was a little damp from inside the bag, but I'll give these a quick water, and I'm going to put these down under the lights, and these are gonna get treated the exact same way. We're not winter sowing any of these. These are gonna get treated the exact same way as the root trainers, so I can see, I just wanna know if this is a comparable method for starting sweet peas, or if there actually is some other advantage other than the deep cells of the root trainers. So we'll be back soon to get the root trainers planted. Okay, I've got my root trainer tray all filled here and ready to go. and I have my sweet peas. So I'm going to take a few minutes and decide exactly which ones and how many of which I want to plant and get my tags ready. I'm just using popsicle sticks, and then we'll be back. Okay, I've got my sweet peas all picked out. The first one is Streamer's Mix. So I'm going to do one complete book of that. And like I said, I'm going to be putting 2 seeds per cell. So I'll just set my tag aside. And I'm going to do the same as I did in the toilet paper tubes. Just set my seeds right on top here. And then I'm just going to use my marker to put them down about 1 centimeter or so. And this is dry mix again. I'm going to water these in really well, and I did not pre-soak my seeds. I used to in the past, and I didn't find it made much of a difference, so it's just one extra step that I just don't do anymore. And I'm gonna stick my tag in the first cell, and I'll know that the rest of this row is Streamer's Mix. So the next one up is Spencer Giant Mix. Get my seeds out. So I'll just go ahead and get the rest of these planted the exact same way, and then we'll come back to wrap up. Okay, we're in the seedling room. I've got everything planted up, and I realized I didn't go through all the varieties with you. So we've got Streamer's Mix, Spencer Giant Mix, we've got Turquoise Lagoon, Old Spice Light Blue, Nelly Viner, Enchanté. I didn't have as many seeds of Earl Grey, so there's only 2 cells of that. And same with Blue Celeste, there's 2 cells of that. And then there is another row of Prince of Orange. Next to that, I have my toilet paper tube sweet peas planted. I do have them setting on a heat mat. It is not on. This was just the spot that I had available. They do like to germinate at a cooler temperature than a lot of other things, so I will not be turning that on. And they are under a light that is also not on. As soon as I start to see the first sprouts, I will turn a light on, but they can take between 2 or 3 weeks, so there's no point in having a light on for a while yet. So these are our sweet peas for the year, and in addition, I have a couple out in the winter sowing box out on the front deck. And this is going to be a fun little experiment, I think. I hope you enjoyed watching, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.